Bellator cage has landed.
Carmouche versus Bennett tonight on Showtime.
Paradise found. The spectacular backdrop can only mean one thing. It is time for Bellator MMA to return to Hawaii. That seems so nice. We're going to have to do this thing twice. This is the historic Blaisdell Center in Honolulu. Welcome inside. Sean Grande, John McCarthy on the first of two very big nights. Tomorrow night ends with the end of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. Tonight, the Flyweight World title will be on the line. Plot has thickened. We'll get to all of it as Liz Carmouche returns to the cage in the building in which she won the world title and does put it on the line tonight against Deanna Bennett. We got a lot of ground to cover, however, before we get there, including a battle of heavyweights and one of the most fascinating bromances going on in all of MMA right now between Tim Johnson and Saeed Soma. They will square off tonight. Sarah McMahon, the veteran who has fought in some high-profile fights. So is Arlene Blenko, by the way. Sarah McMahon makes her promotional debut. The inimitable, in many ways he is imitable, Danny Sabatello, the Italian gangster, back in the Bellator cage, trying to take his eyes off tomorrow night's final against Marcos Brenner. And it will start with Levant Chokoli and Michael Lombardo. But our action begins in the prelims, and the last time we saw the Tiger Ruler, the Sharaf Davlatmurodov, he was fighting on the other card, a Fedor's fight in Moscow. Sugarfoot Anthony Adams on the other side. And as we check out the tail of the tape, John, this is going to be a good one here to kick it off.
This is an outstanding way to start your evening of fights. Take a look at the 76-inch reach of Anthony Adams. Adams is going to want to keep this fight on the feet, and you're going to see Davlatmurodov really looking for takedowns, but he's still good in the stand-up. He will strike with Adams.
No better way to begin the night than with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, aloha, and welcome to the Blaisdell here in Honolulu, Hawaii, as we get set now to welcome our service members, our veterans, our first responders, and family members to tonight's Bellator MMA Fight for Our Heroes. As we get the fights underway, we'll start it off inside the Bellator cage with 3 5-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing the blue corner first. At 5'11", weighing in 185.4 pounds. He is professional, record 18 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. Fighting out of Tajikistan, presenting Shirhan Davlatmurodov. And his adversary across the cage out of the red corner at 6'1", weighing in 185.6 pounds as a professional. 9 victories, 3 defeats. He fights out of Aurora, Colorado, Anthony Sugarfoot Adams. In charge, your referee, Dane Ferruta.
Corner ready, red corner ready, fight!
Both have had high-level opponents. Both have had high-level training partners, high-level camps. Trying to find their place in the increasingly crowded middleweight division.
You talk about high-level opponents. Davlatmurodov's last opponent was Anatoly Tokov, who just fought for the middleweight championship against Johnny Eblen.
And they were talking about Saeed Soma and Tim Johnson being friends. They were good buddies and had ended a fight against each other. They were talking about having a beer afterwards, but business first. And that was it was not a competitive fight on the cards, but it felt like it when you were watching it.
Yeah, very, very good action on both sides. But Anthony Adams is a guy that creates a lot of problems for guys that think that they can strike and outstrike him. very elusive. He's got good footwork, and he does a great job of controlling range. You think you're going to touch him, you miss, and he counters you well.
Elevation camp. Anthony Adams actually grew up in Wyoming. He's been fighting out of Colorado for a while, but he grew up in Wyoming with a guy I've run into in my night job, James Johnson, a longtime NBA player, the NBA veteran, is a huge MMA fan. And they grew up together.
See that beautiful slip right there? You watch the footwork, Anthony. That's what he can do to you. If you come in and you overextend, he's going to take advantage of it normally. Now, he didn't there, but just the movement you saw will create a position where Davlatmurodov is going, ooh, I need to be careful. This guy's got great footwork, great movement.
Davlatmurodov has not fought. We talked about this in the Tokov fight. Is a great fight, high-level fight. He hasn't fought since then, and that was the Fedor card in Moscow in October of 2021.
Yeah, he's had a long layoff, and you think about that, that can have an effect. You know, we talked about ring rust or cage corrosion. Are you the same person? Because there is a speed associated with the real fight that it's hard to get in training.
And it was COVID before that, so we're talking about one fight in 3 years.
Anthony's finding a home for that left kick to the body. He needs to continue to go after it. One of the things about Anthony that we've discussed before, he's fought just good opponents here. He had a great fight against Dalton Rosta, who we know is a beast. But he's got to start stepping on the gas quicker. He takes about a round in there to get himself, get all of his looks, get his tells. He just needs to start throwing more, and we see that he's kind of trying to do that right here. Nice job by Davlatmurodov.
Countering that lead left. Yeah, Dalton Rosta currently 4th in the division. Gegard, Mousasi, Fabian Edwards coming up. Should give us a pretty clear #1 contender for Johnny Edwards, which is the road right now.
Boy, both guys are going to the body with the kicks well.
Keep taking space. Be first. Come on. Don't wait on him, please. Come on. Let's be first. Yes,
One of the best parts of the early prelims is hearing the coaching, which you don't get to hear.
That's true.
When the bill, and it really, sometimes you just want to listen in. It's a
great left hook, and then answering with the kick by Davlatmurodov.
See the damage already in that left eye. Davlatmurodov.
And that jab right there is something that Adams needs to go after all night long. He's got a very good and effective jab when he uses it. Going right back to the body again.
Let's keep our balance. Go again.
These guys are swinging hard. A lot of power from both.
First level change, not much to it.
See, and that right there is big for Anthony Adams because that's a confidence builder. He wants to keep this fight on the feet. Just stop that first real takedown attempt
easily.
And exactly that point, easily. That was a really hard, straight left hand right down the pipe, but right on the forehead. Not exactly the place you want to be hitting somebody. Break your hand easily.
Good combination. Davlatmurodov opened himself up for that late in the rounds. Good first round for Anthony Adams.
Time.
Present. Breathe. Breathe. Focus on your breathing right now. Yep. Focus on your breathing. Listen to me. Hey, almost punches that you're throwing. Accuracy. It's little guys. Accuracy. That way we ain't gonna get overextended. When we get in the clinch and he decides to shoot, you're doing fantastic. Stuff the underhooks. Let's go.
Beats.
Watch the defense on the way out.
When you keep scoring with these kicks, as soon as you kick, you got to put a jab back out there. He's trying to counter these kicks now, right? Your kicks are doing damage. Flatten that outside tire. Flatten that outside tire. Use your toes and shoot stuff up the middle.
Mouthpiece. More offense. We need this offense.
I like that. Flatten that outside tire.
And a lot of people aren't going to understand what he's talking about. He's talking about take away that leg. You want to take away that base, make it to where that thing does not work well. Very good round for both fighters. They both had their moments, both had momentum going for them in that round. A lot of stuff to look at.
You see the damage, the jab that Adams did. There was a sort of a partial eye poke. You saw them stop kind of halfway through the round. It's kind of a play on. Anthony Adams, to me, John, looks stronger in his stance, his base.
I'm really looking at Anthony as, boy, he's stepping up that output.
Yeah.
And that's what we needed to see from him. Both guys kind of
hit low.
And on both. You know, both guys kicking at the same time. I think Anthony got the worst of it.
You ready?
So
That was a little quick.
it's always good when you had 5 seconds to recover.
That's a good. It's like someone who's never taken that particular kick would ask in 5 seconds. You good? Well, no.
Have you had enough time? Nice right hand by Davlatmurodov. Really good counter strike by Anthony Adams there. You saw Davlatmurodov coming forward, trying to establish some momentum, and it stopped him in his tracks.
Most of his career at 170, knocked out, his only knockout loss was to Brett Cooper, and he talked about that as a real wake-up call. Again, COVID slowed everything down. Just one fight in the last 3 years.
Adams needs to go back to that kick as often as possible, because it's having a real effect on Davlatmurodov. He doesn't like to be in southpaw, but he's changing his stance based upon eating that kick to the body. That one was on the hip. Nice low calf kick by Davlatmurodov. You know, for a guy that we haven't seen for a while, he still is looking good. He's looking sharp. He's got speed still, and he's been landing a lot of good shots.
Much quicker in these exchanges here in round 2. So the same advice going in, flatten that tire, but it's Anthony Adams is getting flat here.
You can take a look at those strike stats right now. 22 of 86 for Adams, 26%, 47 of 96. Obviously, the people that do this stat things, they like what they see at Davlatmurodov. I'm not going to.
I like how you phrase that. I like how you, the people that do it. It is not. We are in an age of advanced metrics, and this is not a sport yet that has figured out the best way to apply them.
I'm not too sure those are exactly.
And I'm going to suggest if they did have advanced metrics, you'd get more than 5 seconds for getting kicked low. You good?
It was a good idea by Anthony Adams to go up high, because he's been going to that body kick, and you want to try to catch him.
Much better round for Davlatmurodov.
Yeah, the big difference you've been seeing is every time Anthony Adams has initiated, you're seeing a good counterattack by Davlatmurodov, and now he's the one that's kind of got that momentum. He's feeling good. He's coming forward. There's the response. Beautifully done. And like you said, there's only one tire being flattened right now.
And he's looking more confident, almost that he doesn't feel Anthony Adams can really hurt him in the stand-up outside of those kicks. a little less space and he's landing shots like that.
Yep. He's got, right now you can see he's feeling it. He's got that look. He's just in that zone right now where he's not overextending too much, not putting too much pressure on, but enough to create problems for Anthony Adams. He's definitely taking over in this round.
What kind of fight do we get when fighters are in opposite stances? You know, it changes the dynamic.
A lot of times it's, you get a lot of headbutts is one thing you get. Based upon both guys coming together and the angles that are there. This right here, this is not usually Anthony's world, but he's got him up, he's got him down. Nice job by Anthony Adams.
Wardrobe malfunction and all. Now, is this going to be enough to salvage the round, though, for Anthony Adams? Not if he doesn't, if he's eating shots instead of delivering them here at the bell. What are the rules regarding a wardrobe thing like that?
You know, if you have something happen that is the fighters, it's not their fault. Shorts come apart, things like that. You can take time and bring in another pair of shorts, fix or repair something. That's part of, it's not the fighter's fault. It's just what happens sometimes. Many times the gloves will tear or something like that. It's not on the fighter, and there is no 5-minute penalty for it. Take a look at this exchange right here. Nice job by Davlatmurodov trying to initiate. And then this was the takedown. Beautifully done by Anthony Adams. Getting that takedown, got his hands locked. We know that Davlatmurodov is probably the more seasoned and accomplished wrestler. Doesn't matter in MMA. You do the right things and you get yourself in the right position, get those hands clasped. You can take anyone down. That was a really nice takedown by Anthony Adams.
You thinking 1-1 here?
I think this fight is up in the air for who wants it the most.
Third and final round.
There's no metric for that either.
Here we go.
No, there's not. Both guys kicked, but who got the best of it? It was Davlatmurodov.
He's gonna come out strong. Let's just keep chipping away. Stay on that, Anthony. Stay on that. Here comes overhand. Yep, there it is. You don't gotta pull out all the way. He gonna throw it overhand when we done.
Davlatmurodov has done very well with that teep kick down into the body. He's used it like a jab. He's been very effective with it. You can hear Anthony Adams' corner talking about stepping in. Well, every time he tries to step in, he takes that teep. It doesn't feel good, and that keeps him from going back to trying to step in.
Adams had a little more distance to work with in the first round. Davlatmurodov took that away in round 2. Adams has still been looking for an answer ever since.
Come on, let's work. Focus. Come on, focus. Beat, let's work.
Just a couple more with those when you throw those combinations. Don't just stop. I know he's worried about the takedown.
He should be.
Yep, right there you have it. And he needs to get his foot up.
He was back for a second.
And you see Davlatmurodov holding the fence a couple of times in there.
Davlatmurodov sneaking that left glove in there.
There's Anthony Adams working his way back to his feet. What he needs to do is, you're looking at that right arm that he's covering himself with. He needs to get that inside the body so he can turn and face Davlatmurodov. See him fighting the hands there. He gets the arm inside. Nice job. Well done by Anthony Adams.
That's really well played. That's a big moment in a close fight.
That was. He just needed to drop the hands down just a little bit more into that hip area. The feet drug, and that's what stopped that takedown.
Use the left hand. You got to do some damage. Use the left hand. Let's put him on the map. Use your head position. You got 2 minutes.
Let it work. Let it work.
Finish it. Lock it. Lock it. Lock. Finish. Go back. Go back to it. Go back to it. Go back to it. You got to drop your level. Lock it. Lock. Lock. Pull. Pull. Lock. Lock your hands and pull it. Let's go. Come on.
You can hear the corner of Anthony Adams, and they're telling him the exact right thing. Look, you need to change that level. Lock your hands, and what they're looking for to do is almost bounce Davlatmurodov off the fence, push him against it, pull, and then drop your hands down to get them together.
Be ready. Lock your body off. Body off.
There's the Adams corner. That's who you're hearing.
That was a clean, hard kick to the body.
Davlatmurodov ends up in the dominant position out of the scramble late in the round.
Pete, you can't open your guard. We got to get up. We got to get
We
up.
go to minute 15 with this one very much up in the air.
Anthony Adams is asked to get off of the ground here. Has to get off his back. If he gets a reversal, great, but he cannot stay in this position for the remainder of the fight.
Open your guard. Kick off. Get him framed. Let go of his arms and get up.
Great reversal to get out of a bad position
Create space.
early in the
Make
round.
space.
But he needs one here.
Let's get up. 30 seconds. Pete, get up. Create space.
Always politeness is to do and say, right? The nicest thing is that please.
Start moving.
It's so fun because that's Carrington Banks, and I was talking to him yesterday, and I was talking about how being the trainers sometimes is the worst position to be in, and it's when you're pleading like that. Please, there's
You
nothing
can see it.
do.
You can see it slipping away.
Yeah.
Carrington Banks got off to a great start in Bellator. Final seconds. Anthony Adams content. But did he do enough? These guys went hard, John. We didn't ease into it.
No, I'll tell you, those guys came out throwing some heavy shots and everything. And I thought Anthony Adams did a really nice job of establishing his length, getting his left hand down the pipe on things, hitting the body with the kicks. He took the first round, and then I thought Davlatmurodov took the fight back in that second round. And you look at the third round, close, but I give it to Davlatmurodov.
I'm with you. This is the 12th time in 13 pro fights Anthony Adams has gone to the cards.
This was that when he caught that leg, and you see it twisted there. Nice job with the trip to get him down. Anthony got back to his feet, but in this position, this was right after the kick to the body. And it's because of that kick to the body that he was in a position where he just decided to settle for guard, and that might have been the difference maker in this fight.
It was a 6-fight win streak that ended at the hands of Anatoly Tokov in that fight in Moscow, so it has been a while. As the Tiger ruler, Shere Khan, has been in the winner's circle. I like that they can calculate all of the strikes, the hundreds of strikes in an instant, but it takes an hour and a half to count to 30.
I'll tell you, it's amazing how basic math becomes so hard in fights.
To Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your 3 judges at cage side. Mike Bell, Mike Onzuka, and Brian Miner all have it the same 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision. Shiron Davlatmurodov.
The judges saw it take round 1 as well. Said nearly 3 years to wait for that 19th professional win. Davlatmurodov gets his first win in Bellator. A big night ahead of us, a big 2 nights ahead of us, and for much more and all of it, delighted to say hello and good evening and aloha to Amanda Guerra.
I was just about to say, yeah, we're going to say aloha here, Sean. Amanda Guerra, Josh Thompson with you. 2-time world champ, Josh Thompson on the fight desk with you. We cannot wait to be live on Showtime, 10 Eastern for Bellator 294, the first of back-to-back fight nights here in Hawaii. Let's talk about our main event we have coming up tonight, though, Josh. The Women's Flyweight World Championship. We have current champ Liz Carmouche going up against Deanna Bennett. Here's the thing. We need to lay this out. Deanna Bennett, she missed weight by more than a pound, so she can't win the belt. But Liz Carmouche, she can definitely lose it. This is a rematch. Talk to us about what happened the first time and what we could see tonight.
It was a very competitive fight in the first fight. They were both 1-1 going into the third round. You had Liz winning 1 round and you had Deanna Bennett winning 1 round. But what happened in that third round, there was a couple of exchanges where Deanna Bennett, she felt like she tore her hamstring. So it locked up and tightened up on her, and that gave Liz Carmouche the right opportunity to jump to the back, sink in the choke, and get the finish. That fight, though, was extremely close. Well, each one of them had won 1 round, and the third round was going to be the one that dictated who walked away with the win. Well, we're going to find out tonight how this will go in a 5-round fight, though.
Liz had the option if she wanted to put her belt on the line. She said she did, as we mentioned, so she could win it back or she could lose it. We also want to mention join Bellator and the USO in support of our brave service members in the armed forces. You can send a message of support today at uso.org/Bellator. Sean, we'll send it back down to you.
All right, Amanda. We head now to 170, and we'll talk more, obviously, throughout the next couple nights about Liz and her decision. But in the meantime, a Bellator newcomer and a welterweight on the skirts of the top 10 trying to force his way in. To Michael C. Williams.
And now here at Bellator 294, the prelims continue from the Blaisdell as we go 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'9", weighing in 146.4 pounds. His professional record, 7 wins, 3 losses, fighting out of Tampa, Florida, Blake, the Honey Badger Smith. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 152.4 pounds. As a professional, he brings 10 wins, 3 defeats out of Canby, Oregon, presenting Chris Sunshine Lencioni. And your referee in charge, Frank Trigg.
Good? Good. Good, bro. Simple, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Ready? Ready? Fight!
2 hot fighters here. Smith has won 4 or 5. Lencioni in the red gloves has won 3 straight. 5 wins in Bellator.
Well, I apologize. We weren't able to get that tail of the tape up there, but what was on there was both of these men missed weight.
Yeah,
Sean.
that was big.
And it was, Lencioni missed it by a lot, and he tried to tell Blake Smith, hey, you don't have to lose any more weight. I'm going to give you money. Blake Smith said, oh, no, I'm going to make weight. And then Blake Smith did not make weight, so there will be no money given.
Blake Smith has always fought at 155. One of these guys really came close. But that was, Liz's decision. That's about as Liz's decision as you're going to expect. Like, there was no way she was going to change what she was going to do in the main event tonight.
Liz did things like a champion does.
And knowing Liz as we do, there are fighters that are like, okay, well, that happened. And there are some that take it personally.
Oh, it was a good
That's
shot.
a big shot. And Blake Smith coming off the cage with a big shot.
Well, and if you're gonna, you watch both fights, Blake Smith's got a lot of power. Lencioni just took a big shot right there.
Blake got through.
That's why he backed up a little bit. It's like, you gotta be careful. Go to your strength. Lencioni as a grappler is outstanding. He hurt Smith, but Smith definitely came back and he touched him up a little bit there. That's why he went for the takedown.
How many grapplers, how many wrestlers do we see fall in love with that?
That's nasty right there. We got an Americana. He just needs to keep that on the ground.
Blake Smith thought he had spun out of it. Got Lencioni to release the Americana.
Big shoulder pressure at that time by Lencioni. Straight, Lencioni's putting him into the cage. He's not worried about the stand-up from that position. He wants to use that cage to hold Blake Smith and use ground and pound.
Smith hunting.
Yeah, when you're talking about the grappling positions, Lencioni is going to have the advantage. He's just a better pure grappler than Blake Smith. Not that Blake's not a good wrestler, but as far as danger with submissions, Lencioni is dangerous.
Careful.
All of his stoppage wins are submissions. They build up pretty much the way this one has.
Right now, Blake Smith needs to realize, look, that foot you're seeing of Lencioni, it needs to go to the ground. So I need to try to push this position with my feet over that way so I can start to try to move inside of this figure four. Right now, he is just stuck in this position and just taking shots. Lencioni being very smart as far as, hey, use the strikes to set up the submission.
Blake Smith is trying to defend, but he's not moving.
Right here, when you get into this position, he doesn't quite have it. He doesn't have the neck there. This is more of a face crank, but still a lot of pressure, a lot of discomfort on Blake Smith right now. Going palm to palm on it.
Yep, he's got it under.
Blake Smith just trying to relax. He knows that, look, it's on my chin. It's painful. I don't like it, but it's not going to make me tap. So I give thumbs up when he saw the referee take a step towards him.
Blake Smith has not been stopped since his third professional fight 6 years ago.
Doing a nice job of turning the head. It's not comfortable when he gets into those positions, but you know back in your mind, I can survive this.
Smith is trying to guess where the next shot is coming from, but he has survived it.
And you see how Lencioni's legs are after holding that figure four for that long.
Are we discussing 10-8 there, or did Blake Smith do enough?
I look at that as a 10-8 round. There's no doubt about it. Look, you got to go with, was it a close round? No, there was no point. Now, they both hurt each other with strikes.
Early.
But then quickly, Lencioni takes to the ground, moved to dominant positions, and did damage. Take a look at Blake Smith's face. So there's that beautiful right hand that hurt Blake Smith early. Lencioni opened up. Here it is again. Beautifully done.
Oh, right there was a moment there. He was open.
But then Lencioni takes one back.
Yep,
right there, you can see it puts him back on his feet.
Stand up.
That's what happens when you corner a honey badger.
That's what happens when you corner. But from the point when he took the fight to the ground, dominated every moment of it. All the little, elbow strikes that you saw sometimes Blake Smith doing, those aren't counting for anything. That's a 10-8 round for Chris Lencioni.
Thank you. Thank you. Ready? Ready? Fight!
Well, it's good to see Frank Trigg. You think about, you don't see a lot of high-level fighters who go into this. They're the ones who've experienced it.
Absolutely. How Frank started was he was a commentator and he wanted to come to my class. Yeah. So he could be better at commentating. He ended up becoming a referee and he's done a great job. going to end up, he's able to pull that away. He's going to get this takedown. And you saw what happened once he did. He's already
angling for the same earlier in the round.
Not a good position for Blake Smith right now. He's trying to hold on with that left arm, but he's in trouble now. Nice job if he can come out on top. Well, Lencioni, very smart, doesn't try to just hold the back. Realize, I'll take the top position and I'll move back to that position.
He's moving towards the fence again.
Which is, you know, at this point when you're watching a lot of guys want to stay away from it because it helps their opponent get up. But everybody's a little bit different. And we saw when he did it, you know, in the first round. He was able to put Blake Smith in a lot of trouble without worrying about him getting up. So right now looking for the straight arm lock. And we can take that straight arm lock, turn it into a Khmer at any moment.
What you'd like to see from Lencioni here is he's working to the next position. He's working to the next thing.
He's steps ahead right now when you're looking. And you're seeing, because right now Blake Smith is worried about his left arm. He wants to make sure that he doesn't get into a position where he cannot control where that arm's at. Chris is being heavy with his hips on top. Now he's trying to switch it over.
Blake Smith trying to defend that left arm, but Lencioni's getting closer and closer to stepping over with that right leg.
The big thing that Blake Smith doesn't want to have happen, doesn't want Lencioni to be able to control his head. Okay. So right away taking the back.
One thing leads to another. Here we are again.
And he's in a topside triangle right now, inverted triangle form. Not a good position for Blake Smith because you're going to see Lencioni be able to take that arm, actually use it as part of the squeeze right here. That's what he's doing by pulling with that arm. That's tight on Blake Smith. He's not giving in, but it's very close. If he can put the right type of pressure here, he can put him to sleep. Blake Smith in an uncomfortable position. You see him just trying to breathe through a straw. He's being very calm, which shows his professionalism and being a veteran fighter. But this is not an easy position to get out of right now.
He's got so many different areas he's trying to defend right now. That's it. That was checkmate.
Wow, holy shit.
Full marks for Blake Smith for surviving as long as he did.
That was great.
Fourth straight win for Chris Lencioni, his sixth inside the Bellator cage. He is 11-3, and he's staring at that welterweight top 10.
"22 fights, barely been touched. Still looking good. I'm just a lean, mean killing. Bloody triangle, baby.
Right here, what you're seeing, and the big difference of why Blake Smith was able to see Lencioni just kind of knowing, oh yeah, I got you. It is that arm. It's not across the neck, which is what makes a triangle work. So that's why he's got one side that is still flowing, and so it takes a lot more time for those things to have an effect. But eventually, Blake Smith couldn't take any more.
Yeah, that was a little Diaz pre-finish celebration there.
I'm a little tired.
Well, we've seen that Chris Lencioni's got a little bit of the showman in him in everything he does.
To Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the inverted triangle brings on the tap official time. 3 minutes, 39 seconds, round number 2. The winner by submission, Chris "Sunshine" Lencioni.
No sunshine for Blake Smith. He was dominated in that one, start to finish. So speaking of the Diaz brothers, just had a big anniversary of a big win, Amanda, for your partner there.
Yes, it is. That was the other day, the holiday.
Yes.
was that yesterday?
It's the Josh Thompson holiday.
Things just kind of like blend together here in Hawaii. You did well. I do want to say, okay, we're going to get to the dance thing here in a second. Look at the main card we have coming up tonight. We talked to you about our main event there. I love Danny Sabatello going up against Marcus Breno. Of course, Danny Sabatello, the Italian gangster, the trash talker. You got to see what happened at weigh-ins. We'll show you that on the main card. Let's talk about the big boys, though. Tim Johnson going up against Syed Soma here. The heavyweights, our co-main event. Here's the interesting thing about this fight, Josh. We're calling it the nice guy fight. We probably wouldn't call that the Danny Sabatello fight. Nice guys here. They met in Russia. They became friends. They like one another. They don't want to fight one another. You gotta fight. This is the business here. Both coming off losses. They both need a win in this. What is going to be the key for both of these guys to come out as winner?
For both of them to go out there and have fun, but both of them have to get started quickly. Because Tim Johnson, when he gets started quickly, usually ends the fight quickly. He's got power in his hands, he's got good wrestling, and he is a big, big man. Now, Soma, though, all he's got to do is get after it just as fast because he's a slow starter. And when he tends to slow down, okay, and he starts off slow, is when he starts to have problems. In the second and third round, he picks it up. He can't afford to give away that first round against Tim Johnson.
I did ask Josh if he could repeat that dance, and he said, what did you say?
I said, I'm a good dancer, so I can't dance that bad. I don't know.
We do want to mention join Bellator in the USO in support of our brave service members of the armed forces. All you have to do, send a message of support today at uso.org/Bellator. Back to you, Sean.
Yeah, I don't know where we go with that. Josh is dancing, but it's always the people that think they're the great dancers, but you get the point. Tail of the tape here as we go heavyweight.
Yeah, the big thing here, 259.6 pounds for Tyrell Fortune. That's the biggest he's ever come in the heavyweight division, going out against the debut of Sergey Bilostennyi at 240 pounds. He's that hybrid fighter.
For all those joining us tonight on the live stream at YouTube, both channels, Bellator MMA and Showtime Sports, we welcome you to the island of Oahu here in Honolulu. The prelims go now to 3 5-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing the blue corner. That's 6'1", weighing in 240 pounds even. His professional record, 10 wins, 2 losses tonight. He makes his Bellator debut, presenting Sergey Bilostennyi. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner. At 6'2", weighing in 259.6 pounds as a professional. 12 victories, just 3 defeats. Entering tonight ranked at number 5, introducing Tyrell Fortune. In charge, your referee, Chris West.
You ready? You ready? Let's go. Let's fight.
Tyrell Fortune coming off some high-profile losses here. Needs a strong performance. Needs to stop looking backwards at the Daniel James fight for one.
Absolutely. You know, he felt that he was fouled in that fight with shots to the back of the head, and it may be true, but you just gotta let it go and get past it. He's got a dynamic fighter with a lot of speed in Sergey Bilostennyi in front of him. So he just needs to go about doing things the way that he can. Use his wrestling, use his stand-up to make his wrestling that much more effective.
Ironic because he beat Matt Mitrione when there was a clash of heads that nobody saw, and all that stuff comes around. And
it does.
How you deal with it.
That's what I'm talking about. Use your hands. And then continue on with it. Very, very effective and smart move by Tyrell Fortune.
Bilostennyi has done some work with that Robert Drysdale group in Las Vegas. Won 5 in a row, hasn't lost since 2018. And again, Tyrell Fortune trying to get back to What saw him rise so quickly? We're going to see Aaron Pico tomorrow night, and there was this whole group of guys in Bellator that just started under the spotlight immediately.
Love what I'm seeing out of Sergey Bilostennyi as far as, then he goes right to the close guard. But you saw him with that.
Yeah.
He had the hook inside for an elevator hook, putting the foot on the hip. That's what you're looking for someone to be offensive off their back. Now that we see him in the close guard, more of a defensive fighter. He's just trying to slow down Tyrell Fortune. When you hear his coach talking about moving your hips, you're seeing Bilostennyi change that angle, and you want to create where you're following those hips. Don't allow him to cross angle on those hips. Solid hit. With the pass into half guard by Tyrell, which makes it, for a wrestler, this is a great position. Bilostennyi trying to kind of stop it. Too much pressure in the hip area, too much weight.
It's been 7 years now, but the hard part transitioning from being a wrestler to being an MMA fighter is the techniques and the advances. Let me go from A to B to C to D. If I can dominate A, I can dominate anybody.
You can't just sit there and take.
No, you can't. Is he too committed and these shots landing? Because Tyrell Fortune was pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it didn't look like they were landing that, the way that we would think that one did.
Yes, it did.
You could see the result.
And this is trouble. Tyrell Fortune is in big trouble.
He's going to hit to the back of the head again, though.
It's not. I don't think this is over. Wasn't the call.
Well, it's going to be over. The question is, what is the referee going to call?
This is
multiple times until you watch the back of the head, right between the ears.
Did he tell him multiple times?
He did. You could hear Chris West, the referee, tell him, watch the back of the head. That's telling him you can't target that. If he was moving his head, then there's the problem. You didn't see Tyrell Fortune moving his head.
Not all of it.
Listen.
Not all of it.
So that is a legal blow right there. That one, the first one down.
Okay.
But now you saw that one. That's right to the back of the head. You don't see Tyrell Fortune's head moving, so it's not like it's a moving target that he's trying to come to the side with. This is legal. That hits right behind the ear. That was a legal blow. Now we start getting strikes to the back of the head. You have to be in control. You see, coming straight down, right on the back of the head, back of the neck area. You've got to bring it to the side. That one would be legal. That one would be legal. But too many coming straight down to the back of his head.
DQ. Yes. No. Disqualifying. Based on I warned him multiple times. Yes.
Yeah, this fight is over, as you said, John.
Like I said, it's going to be over. You can tell just by Tyrell Fortune got hurt. And you don't want to take someone that's taken head trauma and put them back in that fight in that fashion. Now the question is, does the referee say that this was unintentional as far as the strikes to the back of the head, or does he say they were intentional? That's going to determine which way the direction of this fight's going to play out.
Based on his first words to Bilostennyi afterwards was, "I told you multiple times."
Okay.
That indicates to me that this is a disqualification.
It indicates to me the same thing. Which
intentional fouls.
And look, I've watched Sergey Bilostennyi many times. He's a good fighter. He's a clean fighter. He's just going after the win. And sometimes, you're trying to get that win, and you end up making a mistake.
And did he not understand what he was being told?
Absolutely not, because look, he does not speak English. He speaks Russian, and so I don't blame him. He didn't hear, you know, when we hear, you're going to hear in the back, the referee's going to say, you know, watch the back of the head, and that's great. But it's hard to remember English in the middle of a fight when you're Russian and you don't speak it.
First shot did a lot of damage, and he just got carried away. All right, Michael C. Williams will make official what we believe we just told you.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, after repeated warnings by the referee to the blue corner for illegal blows to the back of the head, as those blows continued, the referee waves off the contest. Official time, 3 minutes, 26 seconds into round number 1. Your winner by disqualification, Tyrell Fortune.
All right, so Tyrell Fortune gets the win, but guys, there will be a lot more discussion about this.
Josh, so we heard the cheers from the crowd there on the decision, but you do have questions about it.
Yeah, I do. As a fighter, I want to know, Big John and I talk all the time about these type of situations, because as a fighter, I want to know the rules. I want to understand it. And so for me, I want to know, why didn't the refs stop it sooner after the second or the third blow and stop it, assess the point, see if Tyrell could continue? Instead of making it a DQ and allowing it to go that far. That's one. And then two is, had he done that and Tyrell couldn't, it would have been maybe pushed to a no contest because not enough rounds have gone by yet. So my question to Big John is, why wasn't that stopped sooner and taken a point assessed?
You know, I've got that. I heard you, Josh.
Yeah.
And the real thing is this: is you're right. It should have been stopped sooner. I'm gonna agree with you. You saw when Tyrell got hit with the first elbow that actually he dropped to his knees for. That was a legal shot. It was right behind the ear. It is not to what we say is the back of the head. So that was a legal shot. The problem was the hammer fist after that. And once the referee, Chris West, saw those and saw that they were wrong, and he said, watch the back of the head. Again, we have a Russian fighter not speaking English, but you need to get in there and stop it, because you could have damage to the opponent that is taking those blows, and you don't want something to get to a disqualification. So I agree with you. It would have been better and better handled if it had been stopped sooner. Maybe we wouldn't have had to go to the disqualification. Maybe Tyrell would have been able to actually continue on the fight. We don't know, but I agree with you. It could have been a little bit different.
But John, in a no, let's just say it would have been able to continue. That would have been, we would have saw more of the fight. But then the second thing, if it didn't continue, would that have gone to the scorecards? Because it wasn't 2 rounds or 2.5 rounds?
No, it would have had to gone to this 3-round fight. It would have had to enter that 3rd round for it to go to the scorecard. So we would have had one of 2 things: the disqualification, which we ended up with, or we would have had a no contest based upon the referee saying, look, I'm saying you didn't intentionally do it. You were going after him. You didn't intentionally hit that spot. So I'm going to say it was accidental in nature, and it would have been a no contest.
I love having these conversations with you, because as a fighter for 20 years, there's a lot of rules that I didn't know. And I know a lot of fighters at home and a lot of fighters that step in the cage, they don't know them either. And the fans obviously don't know them if the fighters don't even know them. So it's good to educate everybody and get them to know the knowledge of what's going on. So this is great.
And for granted, from both of your perspectives there, Big John McCarthy, thank you so much weighing in on that. Let's talk about our main card we have coming up tonight. First, let's talk about the women's featherweight division here. If you take a look at the rankings, Arlene Blanco going up against Bellator newcomer Sarah McMahon. Arlene Blanco sitting there at number 2, but Sarah McMahon coming into this division does have a chance to absolutely blow things up. Sarah McMahon with a wrestling background, an Olympian, but then Arlene Blanco, we have seen the power she has in those arms. Give us a preview of this one, Josh.
Well, Arlene Blanco's got big power in her hands, okay? But she's also got very good takedown defense. Her fights with Chris Cyborg, she evolved from the first fight to the second fight so much, and the confidence grew. But you cannot count out Sarah McMahon to stand. She's got big power in her hands. A lot of wrestlers come with strength, physical strength, and a lot of power in their hands. A lot of wrestlers end up falling in love with their boxing because they have power, because of all the years of wrestling and the strength that they've built up over the years from wrestling. I look for Sarah McMahon to utilize her wrestling, or her striking, I mean, to utilize to get to her wrestling. So if she can go ahead and land the big shot to threaten that, and then utilize the takedowns from there, I think you're going to see a very successful Serbian match.
And she talked about those takedowns. She said, look, they're just almost like subconscious to me. Like, they just happen so naturally right now. Okay, that was a very nice weigh-in, you know, very cordial here. One of our next fights, the second one on the card tonight, Danny Sabatello going up against Marcus Breno. Look, Danny Sabatello, we know this guy, the ultimate trash talker. Marcus Breno, when we spoke to him this week, he's like, no, I'm nice. The trash talking doesn't bother me. Look what happens here. He goes for Danny Sabatello's glasses. You can't touch the man's glasses, Josh.
I talked to Danny, and he said, you can't touch my glasses. You know that, Josh. These things are expensive. You don't touch it. You got a thumbprint, a smudge on my glasses. No. And then at the end there, Danny was telling him he was #1. Letting him know.
Well, I mean, Danny still thinks he's #1. He's not right now. He does have to watch Rafion Stotts, who he lost to, win or go for winning $1 million tomorrow. How does Danny Sabatello stay focused in this fight coming off that loss?
He's just got to continue doing what he's doing. I would be more concerned if he wasn't focused based on the fact that if he had to change his game plan. But his game plan is always the same. He utilizes his wrestling and his cardio as a weapon. And so what he does, he just grinds on you and hangs on. His game plan doesn't change. And so he just continues to do the same thing. He knows what he's good at, and he's so good at it that he just continues to do it.
An incredible main card coming up tonight at 10 Eastern on Showtime. We'll send it back down to Sean in Big John to wrap up the prelims.
All right, Amanda, don't sleep on Marcos Breno. That's all I'm saying when we get to that main card with Danny Sabatello. In the meantime, our finale here in the prelims, Kenneth Cross. John is an interesting young fighter you may not know.
Look, both these guys outstanding in the lightweight division. 14-3 for Achilles Mota, 13-3 for Kenneth Cross. All 3 losses to submission. So can Achilles Mota use that jiu-jitsu that he's so good at?
To Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come here tonight at Bellator's Fight for Our Heroes to conclude our prelims, and we'll do it here at the Blaisdell as we go 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 6 foot, weighing in 155.2 pounds. In his Bellator debut, he's bringing 13 wins, 3 losses, fighting out of Hastings, Michigan, Kenneth the Boss Cross. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5 foot 11, weighing in 156 pounds even. As a professional, 14 victories, 3 defeats from Registro, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Introducing Achilles Mota. And the referee in charge, Kevin Yoshida.
This is a tough draw in a promotional debut for Kenneth Cross.
All right, are you ready? Fight, are you ready?
Mota has fought some high-level competition. You saw the tail to take. He's got the experience. You and I, John, have talked about Kenneth Cross and who he patterns himself after, who he reminds people of. I want to let people watch for a little bit and see if they can pick it up.
Absolutely. Kenneth Cross, very dynamic fighter, and definitely wins the better hair for the day. Right?
Oh, that's a salad right there. It's high school hockey.
Oh, you okay? Okay. Keep it up.
Ironic, we just had a big rules discussion at the end of that Tyrell Fortune fight. Good kick by Mota, because Mota lost a fight to Derek Anderson.
Absolutely.
That was a rule issue about when a fighter is grounded or not.
Absolutely, and you know, you got to be, you know, what'll happen is sometimes the fighter will look and think, oh, I can get away with the win, and when they could actually get themselves back in the fight, they don't. I'm not saying that happened with Achilles, but I don't think Fortune was going to get himself back in the fight after the shots he took.
So this is sort of a freebie for you in a way, but do fighters know the rules as well as they should?
No. Let's just be honest. You know, they know certain things. They know I can't do this, I can't do this. But when it comes to the actual rules of the sport and how things are played out, they really don't understand. Sometimes they don't understand what they're going to get credit for in the fight from the judges. And you think, how can you be so good at this sport and not know those things? But it's just part of it. Nice job like that.
That's good stuff. That's really good stuff.
That is really big, and this is the big difference in what we've seen in him lately. You know, you were talking about, you're going to see who you think he looks like. Look, he fights very much like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, he does.
And I love watching this guy fight. He is good. His first losses were to submission, but he has gotten so much better now. And now that he's got Achilles Mota's back, this is, not where I thought he'd possibly win this fight by submission, but he's just showing his progression as a fighter because Achilles Mota is outstanding on the ground.
How many of these young fighters, you look back at their early losses and you see, I'd say a 21-year-old that was fighting a 27-year-old or a 28-year-old, so much, and one mistake against an experienced fighter,
right.
and suddenly you're 3-2 instead of 5-0.
That's exactly it. When you're young, it's just the difference of you don't know what you don't know until all of a sudden now you know. And you think that I can out-athlete everyone and do these things. No, not against a good, experienced veteran fighter. They'll take advantage of those little mistakes.
Again, see Pico, Aaron.
Yeah. Aaron Pico is a perfect example of a guy. You take a look at his record. It's good, but definitely not what it could be based upon who he is as a fighter and an athlete.
Too much too soon.
Yeah, and being too young. Aaron Pico now will talk to you and tell you I wasn't ready to be a champion. I thought I was, but I definitely wasn't.
And you want your young guys to think
good shot by
that was
on the exit. Nice clean left hand by Kenneth Cross there. That hurt Achilles.
There's got to be some butterflies when you step from those. You're rising in those regional promotions, in the bad lighting, in the dark, in the comfort of being home, and all of a sudden, you're a long way from home, under the bright lights. Facing a tougher, more veteran fighter than you have ever seen.
You're so right when you're talking about the level of competition and what happens. Kenneth Cross has had a couple of good opponents.
No doubt.
So he's up there now. He's understanding, as I get better, these guys getting better, yeah, things become more difficult. I need to take my time. I can't be impatient. He has a definite speed advantage over Achilles, but he's not utilizing because he's allowing Achilles to close that space. This is a good opportunity. Not a lot of time for Achilles, but a good opportunity to try to get some of this round back.
Watch the gloves, man.
He's not holding the gloves.
He's grabbing your wrist.
He can hold that wrist just like he has it. It's totally legal. Nice job of turning inside of that by Kenneth Cross. Very athletic move.
Good debut Bellator round for Kenneth Cross.
Hey, all my straight stuff.
Take a look at this elbow right there. That's the best shot that Mota had in this round. Very clean. You see Cross trying to gain distance from it. It was a clean strike. Cross also had his moments too. He hit him with this beautiful left hand right there. Good back and forth action. Both guys looking for takedowns at time.
Let's go. Go bounce here. Come on.
Cross, who's gone to Extreme Couture, spending his entire younger career coming up in Michigan. So it is Military Family Month.
All right, round two, gentlemen, round two.
Throughout the weekend, we will see family members.
Hunter in charge.
Always in charge. It's such a feel-good weekend. Oh, big shot from Mota to begin the second round.
Very nice. Mota being very intelligent. This is what we talk about, veteran fighters. He's closing that distance. He knows, hey, on the outside, this guy has a bit of an advantage. I'm not going to give him that. I'm going to press. I'm going to make him feel uncomfortable. I'm going to put his back to the cage. Right now, Achilles Mota is doing a great job of doing that.
Achilles Mota early in the round, good position to work from. This is where sometimes I think with a younger fighter, John, there's an advantage to having some losses. Because you've been in bad situations and you've already made the mistakes. A lot of fighters get to this level and they're 8-0, 9-0. They haven't made those mistakes. They haven't been in these spots. Kenneth Cross has.
You know, you're absolutely right. You say, well, a loss is not good, but it's what you learn from the loss at times. Now, many times when a guy gets a win, but it's a close win, they don't sit there and look at things and say, oh, I should have done this better. I should have done this. Let me work on this. It's like, I won. I did good.
Add it all the way.
This is a great position right now for Achilles. Inside control. The one thing with being inside control, though, not easy because you're using your arms to control the body of your opponent, so not easy to land strikes. You've got to give space, which allows the opponent space to try to escape. See as Mota's leaning up, giving space.
This is trouble. That's it too deep. That's it.
Nice job by Achilles Mota.
A promising start for Kenneth Cross, but too much experience and a great start to that second round for Achilles Mota, who wins his third straight. He set up this entire round in the first couple of seconds, and once he got it to the ground, it was methodical.
Did a nice job right here. Got his hands locked together on the waist and then brings the arm over and just has a lot of weight, even with his head coming down, pressing on it, doesn't have the legs engaged, but he locks up, and even that hand being on top, Kenneth Cross should have been reaching for that hand, trying to pull it down. He just got a little overwhelmed, and that's just experience.
Come on, guys.
Tap, rear naked choke.
Michael C. Williams will make this one official.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap by way of a rear naked choke. Official time, 2 minutes, 14 seconds into round number 2. The winner by submission, Achilles Mota.
He goes to 15-3, his fourth win in Bellator.
Meus filhos, amo vocês, é por vocês. Brasil, é nóis. Thanks so much, Bellator. I'm here.
And a name you will hear again. We are going live on Showtime. Top of the hour, headed for the flyweight world title being on the line. Liz Carmouche can lose it. Deanna Bennett can't win it, but that is the main event here. Tim Johnson decides some of the heavyweights. John, I can't get past the notion of Danny Sabatello eyes being elsewhere when they need to be on Marcos Bueno, because that's a dangerous young man.
A really dangerous young man, a guy that goes to the body really well, and Danny Sabatello's first loss was due to a body blow. Danny's a fantastic wrestler, but Breno's got great striking, and he's got good wrestling also, so this is a tough matchup. This is no give me for Danny Sabatello.
Top of the hour, live on Showtime. We will fight for our heroes. We will fight for rankings in the divisions, and we will fight for the Flyweight World Championship. We'll see you top of the hour, live on Showtime.
I'm ready for battle. I'm ready to fight. This is my legacy. This is my right.
The Bellator cage has landed.
Fear my roar. I am a soldier. Ready for war. Oh my God! I'm taking what's mine. I'm taking what's mine. Ready to come.
Carmouche versus Bennett tonight on Showtime.
The hunt for gold is on as Bellator MMA touches down in Hawaii with 2 unmissable fight nights. Bellator 294 and 295 go down this Friday and Saturday from the Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu, and boy, are fans in for a treat. 2 nights and 2 world title fights. Bellator's Hawaiian doubleheader puts the focus firmly on gold as the women's flyweight and men's bantamweight divisions come to a head. Kicking things off, Bellator 294 brings a night of high-powered MMA action to show our appreciation for those who serve and protect our great nation. The event, which is free for America's military, veterans, and first responders. Flyweight world champion Liz Carmouche defends the belt against Deanna Bennett, a rematch that's almost 3 years in the making. Last year, Carmouche, a Marine veteran, became the first woman ever to defeat then flyweight champion Juliana Velasquez, handing her back-to-back defeats to mark her stamp on the division. Her opponent, Bennett, is riding the crest of a wave of momentum with a trio of wins and is looking to avenge her 2020 defeat against Carmouche when they face off once again. Bellator 294 also features heavyweight hitters in the co-main event as former interim heavyweight title challenger Tim Johnson faces off with Saeed Swoma. Also on the card, the unmistakably brash Italian gangster Danny Sabatello is back, and he's got a point to prove when he faces off against the fast-rising bantamweight prospect Marcus Brino. On the second night of the doubleheader, Rafael Stotts and Patchy Mix will battle it out for the Bantamweight World Grand Prix Championship and a chance to walk away with $1 million. Despite champion Sergio Pettis missing the tournament due to injury, the Grand Prix has delivered monumental levels of excitement, with both Stotts and Mix storming through the competition. Stotts captured the interim Bantamweight World Championship by knocking out Juan Archuleta, while Mix dominated former Bantamweight World Champion Kyoji Horiguchi to advance to the semifinals. To book their respective spots in the $1 million finals, Stotts exhibited his phenomenal wrestling ability in a dominant performance against arch nemesis Danny Sabatello. Meanwhile, Mix became the first fighter to submit Magomed Magomedov, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is the real deal. Now they both seek the ultimate glory when they square off in Hawaii. In addition to the highly anticipated main event, Bellator 295 also features a stacked card full of top-tier matches that are not to be missed. Local hero Limale McFarland will take on second-ranked Hana Watanabe in a highly anticipated flyweight showdown that promises to be a thrilling battle. Plus, fans can look forward to a long-awaited return of top featherweight contender Aaron Pico. And get ready for a fiery matchup on the main card of Bellator 295. The former Bantamweight World Champion Kyoji Horiguchi will take on the Bellator MMA newcomer Ray Borg, who enters the promotion with 3 consecutive wins. Bellator 294 comes to you this Friday live on Showtime, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. Followed by Bellator 295 on Saturday night starting at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and get ready for a weekend of action that's going to have you yelling Hawaiian punch at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's humbling that people actually want to spend time with you when you look at them and you go, hey, you guys are the ones that, really put it on the line and things like that. It's humbling that they look at us like we're someone special when we're not. We're just the dummies that people see, and they're the ones that put it all on the line. Their families are here, and it's nice to be able to see their families, see them, spend time with them, and if you can put a smile on someone's face for a day, it's worth it. It's awesome.
We're getting ready to sign some autographs, take some pictures, thank the military for protecting us, taking care of us, and hang out, man. We're just gonna hang out.
We signed autographs for the military base, Schofield military base. USO is sponsoring this, bringing us in. It's a way to give it back to the soldiers.
It's like a dream come true, It's like I won the lottery or something. I got to feel like a little high school girl with the jitters and everything. It's crazy. I'm gonna be listening to the podcast, be watching jiu-jitsu videos now. I don't know. I'm probably not gonna sleep. I'm just trying to keep this memory going and going and going. So it's a big deal.
That's in tight, John.
Let go, that's it, that's it.
Liz Carmouche, a winner by submission. What a finish.
Deanna Bennett, she suffered a really bad injury in her last fight against Liz Carmouche in that third round.
She has 6 anchors now that hold that hamstring back in place.
Fight here and to get my hand raised in this building.
Referee stops the fight. We've got a new flyweight champion. Liz Carmouche. Like she's in big trouble. Liz Carmouche piling it on. Kevin McDonald taking a close look. A lot of these shots are getting in and it's over. It's over. The MMA world wanted Liz Carmouche to make a statement, and did she ever?
My whole fight career has been building to this moment right here.
Presenting Tim Johnson, Soma.
Plus, if you're concerned about your weight as a heavyweight, you can always have Dan Mercogliano officiate, and it makes you look smaller.
Dan's a lot thinner.
He is?
All right, ready, son. I think Dan's looking good. Let's go, gentlemen. Used to be over 300 pounds.
Yeah.
That's the way to start a fight right there. We were all worried about that glove touching earlier.
Yeah, it was a strange night for the glove touch. People were a little bit easy about the glove touch. I mean, I get the sanitary nature of it, but it seemed a little hostile. Now, we talked about the swimming, the Syed Soma swimming, because it makes him a different animal cardio-wise than a regular MMA fighter, let alone the heavyweight.
He's got great cardio. That's the one thing, you know, when you talk about his size, being that he's not that bigger, giant heavyweight, he's got great endurance. He just needs to, at certain points, push the fight. You can see how relaxed he is just right now. He's nice and calm. That's good. Moments he needs to press in the fight to push his opponent past that cliff.
I'm going to go out on a crazy limit and say Suriname's one of like 8 places in the world you've never been.
I have been to Suriname.
Oh my goodness.
It's over.
My goodness.
Big left hook.
Sometimes you don't need the cardio. The only thing better than delivering a performance is delivering one that nobody is expecting.
You see, Honey Marks, he's complaining, but he does not know what occurred. Here's, you're going to see exactly what happens. Watch the left hand. Boom, right there on the chin. You see him going down. He's stunned. Dan Mercogliano gives him a chance. He goes out right there.
Yeah, he was not defending himself in any way.
Nope. That was a good stoppage by Dan. That was exactly what he's supposed to do. Big left hand, and he was circling into it, which only intensified the power on it. Watch again as he circles out to his right. Here comes the left hook over the top. Right on the button, you see him. He is stunned going down. And then he gets planted that one time right there. You see him go out. That's when Dan comes in to stop it. Doesn't matter if he gets hit. And he kind of comes back a little bit. That was a great stoppage by Dan.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 1 minute, 9 seconds into round number 1. The winner by knockout, Syed Soma.
Michael Bell has been assigned the task of overseeing this heavyweight battle. Scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Tim Johnson
Representing Extreme Couture, Mayweather Boxing, and Bones Adams Boxing in Las Vegas. He wears the blue gloves. Tyrell Fortune in the red gloves. Fight Clock brought to you by Geico.
Tim Johnson has fought good wrestlers before. He fought, like Jared Rosholt, very good wrestler. But Rosholt didn't have the hands that Tyrell Fortune has. He didn't have the ability to stand up and hurt you at the same level. And it's the knees that you'll see Tyrell Fortune throw at times, especially the knees to the body, that make big dividends down as that fight goes into the later rounds.
Johnson surviving the shot below the equator. Lead right hand by Fortune connects. Another right hand. Oh, but Johnson just clocked Fortune. Fortune fingers the bald, and Johnson has knocked Tyrell Fortune out cold. Mamma mia!
Huge win for Tim Johnson. That is big.
Tonight's fight replay brought to you by the Marines.
Here's a replay right here. Tim Johnson comes in, throws the left, but it's the right hand. Look at touch right on that chin. Hit the button. Didn't even need to follow up. Once that right hand touches, left hand comes forward. Both throw the right hand, but it's Tim Johnson's that finds the mark. And you can see Tyrell Fortune is out, going down. Real speed. Watch how fast this happens. That is a solid shot by a 265-pound man. Big shot by Tim Johnson.
After getting knocked out in his first two Bellator MMA fights, Tim Johnson just recorded the most impressive victory of his career. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end suddenly. 2 minutes, 35 seconds into round number one. The winner by knockout, Tim Johnson.
So now, exactly where Minikoff did not want to be. Going to a third round of a fight that may be even, and now having to do it on that left leg. She took a ton of damage in round two. Soma's still very wary, as he should be, of the exceptional power of the former world champion. Spinning back fist, that connected. It did.
He actually blocked it a little bit, but it absolutely had an effect on it.
Leg kick into a combination.
Minikoff having a problem with that left leg. What happened is Minikoff obviously has broken his finger, might have dislocated it.
And that's it. It's over.
And should have handled it. It's unfortunate. You can see he's looking at his finger. It's popped. Soma actually gives him time in trying to pop it back, but when he can't do it, and it's going to be a part of the fight that he can't continue on with it in that position, now you're going to have to stop the fight. That was the right call by Brian Miner.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to injury, the red corner unable to continue. Therefore, the bout waved off officially. 3 minutes, 8 seconds into round number 3. The winner by TKO, Saeed Soma.
Main event of the evening, Mitrione and Johnson. Fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Here we go! Tonight's Fight Clock brought to you by Geico. Mitrione in the red gloves, the fellow southpaw Johnson in the blue gloves.
It's the one thing that Johnson, being a guy that's always looking for the wrestling game, because he's not going to try to become a striker, but in that situation right there, they came together. I think they might have butted heads. Because as Johnson came in, he kind of ducked his head, and I think that head, yeah, it touched the chin of Matt Mitrione. That's why he ended up on his butt. Yeah, he's paddling upstream this entire now round based upon getting hit with a head to his chin that put him on his butt.
Tim Johnson pouring it on early. Mitrione's in trouble.
Needs to move. He's trying to get to his feet. He's trying to work, but this is too
Looking
much.
to finish it right here, right now. And it's all over. Just like that. Tim Johnson finishes Matt Mitrione.
You know, you got to look at Tim Johnson and look at the power he's delivering with those shots. Forget about it. That is a big, heavy-handed fighter on top, landing heavy shots. Can only take so much.
Thank you very much, Big John. Tim Johnson finishing Matt Mitrione in round number 1 in our co-main event of the evening, using a little Ryan Bader Wrestling 101 to get the victory.
Because that, folks, is why it matters. Bellator is heading back to the Aloha State with back-to-back nights of high-powered MMA action. Bellator 294 will kick off the doubleheader on Friday night with an